What is up, plant community? If you like my videos, go ahead, give me a like, share, subscribe, and thumbs up, and hit that bell icon so that way you are notified anytime I upload a video. Just wanna look at the little bee. Look at the little bee. Getting all that nectar. Anyways, gonna do a bonsai video update. So, I did a few things off video. One of them was pruning this guy up a bit. I figured it wouldn't be a good video since all I'm really doing right now is directional pruning to try to get the branches to go up, maybe make it more thicker, which I'm wanting to do, thicken this up and thicken the branches up. Since it has quite large leaves, I want to try to do a medium bonsai with it. And yeah, so this one is starting to go up, but I might have to directionally prune that too. So I'm just waiting for this to grow out more, but it has some nice, not sure you guys can see that on camera, but it has some red veining. So that's one bonsai update there. Then here is my variegated weeping fig. Starting to kind of revert. I'm thinking I'm going to have to put it more in sun, but where it's at gets a little bit of sun. I haven't done any pruning to it because honestly I like the way it's growing so far with all the branching and branch structure and everything like that. Just gonna have to prune this guy down here. And he's not in proper bonsai soil yet. He's just a cutting, so that will be a future video eventually. And then over here in that little hole right there, we got my poor man's bonsai. It is a dandelion. When I got it, the trunk wasn't this thick. The trunk has thickened up quite a bit, so I'm going to have to expose more root because all that is a big tap root. And when I do, I'll probably do a little video on it. And then here is my newest bonsai. It's a little droopy right now because when I got it, the soil was saturated and, well, some of the roots went ahead and fell off. So I'm left with a very meager root system. I haven't done any pruning on it. It's quite droopy compared to my friends over there that has not been worked on. So I'm just kind of leaving it alone, letting it heal. Temperatures have been kind of cool, so yeah, I haven't really messed with that. So over here we have my other bonsai, my Patera aquatica bonsai forest. Leaves are quite big right now. I'm hoping to get those reduced eventually. Some of these leaves have reduced in size over here. This is supposed to be another medium-sized bonsai forest. My bad. The trunks have thickened up quite a bit. I was going to do a video on it, but I decided it wasn't a video really worth doing because all I did was really just pinched the growth basically, and now I got some cuttings going. And so yeah, that's really it. So all I'm trying to do is get some branching and eventually probably move it into a bigger quality bonsai pot because I feel like it's kind of cramped with the leaves in there. So we go back to my desert bonsais. We have my jade bonsai forest, which I've just let grow. It also needs a bigger pot and desert bonsai soil, which I can make easily. But I haven't messed with it. I've just been kind of letting it grow. I might pinch some of the growth before I bring it in, so that'll be a video. And then here we have my Carassula tetragoma. Some of it died back because it wasn't getting the lighting it needed, so I put all my deserts out here. That one actually needed to be pruned back quite a bit. I was going to do a video on it, but it rained and I couldn't do a video on it. And it was just really, really drooping. So I was like, oh, I gotta handle that, or else it's just one strong gust of wind. It's just gonna flop right out of the pot and ruin my landscape. So I went ahead and pruned that. Sorry that I didn't make a video of that. Then here we have another bonsai of Ficus Oh So Little Leaf. Remember how many branches it had, and it just looked very sparse because it just dropped its leaves for some reason. I don't know why. It was already pre-bonsaied when I did it. It just, I don't know, maybe I pruned it back a little too hard. But it's came out with lots of good foliage now. Over the winter it did do much. It's just, I gotta get one side of it growing correctly here compared to the other side, which is a lot more fuller. So it's a little lopsided right now, but it'll get there. In fact, I might go ahead and put it that way to try and encourage more growth to come out that way. Because, yeah, that's what we want. But I'm glad it's came back, and I'm glad it's doing really well from the pruning. Seems to take them a minute, but once they get going, they really grow with vigor. Alright, gonna go over here now to where my other tropicals are at. Alright, gonna take this, place that over there. That's filled with water. I use that to water all the trees whenever it comes time to do that, because it's just free water and I fill up my buckets. So here we have my Ficus Ginseng. I'm thinking about putting a little Yoda here sometime. Don't know when, but sometime. It's doing really well. I trimmed it back, and it's doing good. I like the wild look of it. Some of the branches are going up like I want, and then I want some that are kind of weeping down. Give it a mature ficus look in a small setting. And then here we have my, let me back up. We got my Hibiscus bonsai, which is supposed to be a tropical Victorian style bonsai because of the braided trunk and the pot I put it in. So I'm going to try to keep this quite compact. I like the red pot. The red pot, I think, goes nicely with the orange flowers. And I think it is a hybrid. My friend gave me the name, but it's basically a double-flowered hibiscus tree. So that will also need a pruning, which will be a next video. Gotta get compact again. So that'll be an exciting video due. I remember when I had this tree and I had to give it a major root prune because of the thick roots on it, and boy, it dropped a lot of leaves, and the leaves were drooping. I was like, is it gonna make it, man? Because I really just wanted to live and make it, and behold, it did. Alright, sorry, had to kind of cut out for a minute. Lots of motorcycles going out today because it's just a really nice day for it. Things are starting to cool off a bit here, but I heard we do have some heat waves coming in, so. But yeah, hibiscus doing really good, even flowering for me, so that's exciting. More flower petals. Or, nope, that's where one was and fell out, I'm guessing. So, yeah, that'll definitely need to be pruned back. I'm just kind of letting it flower for right now. Letting it do its thing. It helps it thicken up, too. Because the main goal of this one is for it to really look like an abandoned tree that's just been kind of left there from the Victorian era and is just now kind of starting to grow wild. And the moss is kind of dead, which I kept it there because it's a cool feature, and there is still some patches of green, so hopefully that'll grow in. But yeah, remember in the bonsai group, I got kind of bashed for this because people don't know, but they did use hibiscus in more of the tropical areas where the rich Victorian, where if you was rich, you had one of these braided as a big showpiece tree, and they used hydrangeas and other trees or shrubs to prevent that braided trunk look. Will that come off? That is still attached, so I'm not going to mess with that. And then here we have my mom's Setia bonsai. It too is doing really well. It's grown with lots of vigor from the last time I pruned it, so it will also have to get its winter pruning again before I have to bring it in for the winter. Here we have my popcorn plant bonsai. It had some leaves down here, but I trimmed it to about this height. This is where I want all the branching to be done. It's a cassia buttered popcorn plant, tropical fragrant, blooming yellow. Not sure if you guys can see that very well, but camera quality kind of ain't the best. But it's starting to look really good, really nice. The stems on it, you can see, have definitely shrunk from when it was a more normal, natural growing tree. So that's good. I'm glad to see these shrink on the stems now. And a cool thing about them is I guess they're related to the Brazilian rain tree. And the leaves do fold up at night. So that's a cool little feature. Really love this tree. I love pruning on it. It just gives a nice little popcorn smell if you like that. And then this is my tiger bark ficus cutting, double trunked. I did have trouble with this over the winter. So I had this tree and it was doing really good. And I gave it to my uncle because it was an S-shaped trunk and I didn't want that. I wanted a more mature looking tiger bark ficus just in a smaller package. Not S-shaped though, I wanted it to look more naturalized. And I gave it to my uncle and some things happened because it was originally in this pot and let's just say the tree didn't make it and it died. So this is what is left. And yeah, hopefully I can form my uncle a new tiger bark ficus bonsai. I think he would really like that. Give it an S shape, which will have to be done with some wiring when it gets more mature, but that's fine with me. And then here we have my pinging here, which is something I like to do. I like to do bonsai pigeons. This is supposed to be a Japanese style garden tree. It is a Fukian tea tree. I did find out that the berries on it are edible. So if you're ever hungry and you're just pruning your bonsai, eat a berry. It won't harm you. My friend tried it and he lived. So, but it grows like a weed, and I done gave it a prune once, not really that long ago, and it's starting to grow again, and the foliage has taken over. One of my bamboos, which isn't a bamboo, it is actually a fern, but not really a fern. And yeah, one of them died, so that will have to be replaced one day. And one of them lived. And I have by two Buddhas, Buddhas. That's the word I'm looking for. Buddhas. Words are hard. And got a little pathway walking up to the tree. I like the S-shaped bend in it. I like how it's not perfect. I don't ever want a tree to be perfect because the true perfection comes from the most imperfect things in nature. And then this here is my Norfolk Island Pine Bonsai Forest update on it. There has been foliage dropping from the quote-unquote ginkgos. They're not really ginkgos. But, Yeah, they're dropping foliage. Looks like we got some moss wanting to start to take over now, so that's good. This has grown a little bit. I'm trying to let that grow a little bit more. I need to pinch that, but yeah, it's doing really well. It's doing good. I want to keep it small and compact because I only got so much space, especially when you grow tropical plants. Because I just don't do bonsai. And then this here is my large bonsai. It is my friend's Karma's tree, so I call it the Karma tree. It is a Ficus burgundy. The reason why I wanted to make it such a large tree is because you get these large leaves, and I find that the only way you can really kind of shrink these leaves is if you keep it in a pot and the roots are kind of stuck in the pot for an X amount of years, but then the leaves will tend to get elongated and they don't quite look like the normal Ficus burgundy leaves. But if you wanted that look, that's an idea you could do. This is not coming off yet, so. But I got 2 branches forming on it so far. I kept the bottom leaf because there's a little dormant node there that still has not activated. So I might cut that completely off and keep this as my main branch structure. And yeah, have all these leaves branching out so that way I can have a good little branch structure to it. But yeah, so far we got some branching, just not quite in the way I wanted it. But it's branching nonetheless, so I'm just going to have to deal with it and do some cutting once I let the nodes get as big as I want, the little leaves here. Like them as bonsais, they're unique. And then down here we have my boxwood, which is doing good. Not really much to say there. It's grown a little bit, not much. I ain't gonna trim it back because it needs all the branches it can get for winter now. And then here we have my ficus cuttings, my normal green ficus cuttings, which I'm either thinking about selling or maybe making a forest out of. But if I was to do that, I would need to keep the trees trimmed quite a bit. Because if I let them keep growing bigger and bigger, then, well, then it's going to be harder to keep them compact and contained. I would basically need something like my tiger bark ficus there, and no bigger. Maybe even smaller than that. Another thing I forgot to mention too about the tiger bark ficus is during the winter time, this whole trunk almost died back. It died back, get in there for you, completely right there, which sucked. I was thinking that, oh, well, since that happened, I might only have a 1 trunk tiger bark ficus, which I would have been fine with. But surprisingly, it had 1 little shoot that came out, and now it's doing really well. So, yeah, hopefully that shoot keeps growing strong. So, let's go up front now to look at the bonsais there. We are in the front garden now. So, this here is mystery seeds. I don't know what these seeds are, but it was a tropical apple of some sort, and it was rated for a zone 9, and here we're a zone 6A, so I don't think that's possible, but I don't know. When they grow and they start to send out shoots, I'll take pictures and put them in some plant groups I'm in, or maybe try to figure it out by the leaf, or eventually move it to somewhere where I'll get the information needed, even if I have to ask on YouTube. So, here we have my red maples, which are doing good. I'm going to be giving one away and the other one away, and I'm going to be keeping this one as my tree. Hopefully it doesn't die. If it does, well, guess I'll just get some more seeds then, because the thing about these trees is, you know, and this is true for most bonsais, sometimes you'll get a tree and it'll do really well, and you'll have several other trees, but half of them won't make it, and half of them won't make it through winter. So I'm going to try to protect this guy as much as I can through winter, so that way they can make it being seedlings, because I ain't got no greenhouse here. I live in government housing, so... And there's a mother plant. That tree right there is the one that produced those seeds for my red maples. Then here we have my variegated ficus cutting. My friend gave me those. And I have some of them down here too, which are doing really well right here. They are turning into some beautiful trees. Hopefully I will get to bonsaiing them, but I'm trying to thicken up and gain vigor before I do so. And then over there, I was debating on trying to bonsai that, but I don't know. I might keep it as a normal house plant, let it grow, let it be something decorative for the tropical garden, or bonsai it eventually. I don't know yet, but if I do, that'll be a project. So, yeah, and I'm not going to be keeping half these trees here. I'm going to be selling them or giving them away. More likely be trying to sell them, so that way I can keep my hobby going. But yeah, so that is it for the tropical bonsai update, and my just normal bonsais like the maple. I ain't got too many cold hardy bonsais, but hey, at least I got something, right? But yeah, that's really it for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as always. And as always, have a good rest of the day, guys.